Blistering Sands, and oh, the casual nonchalant ain't no problem sort of split from DuckloadRa, aka White-Ra in the bottom left is the red Protoss. And then Mouse Sports Morrow in the top right spawning is the blue infested Terran pieces. And you know, it's always kind of funny to note how Terran-like Morrow's play is. He tends to get a little bit more units, a little bit less bases. Yeah. Tends to be a little bit better with the defense. It's very, very cool to see that sort of come through.
Well, he is the infested Terran indeed. And as you had mentioned earlier in the game, you know, for someone to win a major title as two different races, I think is something special. You know, he's won several different things and some smaller cups and placed well, but it's something that's had such a great pool of competition. It would truly be an amazing thing. It's something I'm sure he'll be remembered for a very long time.
Definitely. The map is Blistering Sands. Zergs love this map because of the obvious backdoor entrance. Whenever you have two entrances, it does not mean that you need to have double defense. Doesn't mean you need cannons at both places or something like that, because honestly, it just means you now have two shitty defenses. What you really need is a large mobile army that can bounce back and forth between those two locations. And Zerg are the master of mobility early game with the Zergling speed, with the Roaches. So it's so difficult for Protoss to be in the right place at the right time. So as we see Morrow doing this gas pool build, I don't even think that this is going to be a, quote, good general choice for a build. This is almost exactly the correct way to open on Blistering Sands.
Yeah, and it leaves a lot of things open. Now, we do have the pylon going down, but the gateway is actually close to the nexus here for White-Ra, which will be very interesting to see how Morrow is going to scout and then deal with this. He does have an Overlord heading on over. The firstlings, I do believe, are out. I just don't see them anywhere on my... Maybe they're on their way.
Yeah, it looks like that pool is very, very nearly finished. There's Mouse Sports Morrow's Overlord hanging right by his natural expansion. That's actually kind of a little surprising to me to leave that there. But you know what? As we've seen, it's very, very annoying to get cannon cheesed on this map or to get proxy gatewayed. So most of the time, players will just do anything it takes to get that sort of defense up. So now we do see the Queen about halfway done. 4 Zerglings also about halfway done. And per usual, speed has started.
I swear to God, I heard a pair of Zerglings pop, but apparently that is not the case. As now they are starting to come out here, and we are going to have a hatchery going down as well. The Cybercore is up, and Warp Gate is also underway. But again, this sort of like gaping hole at the front there, it's going to get occupied. I'm sure Gateway going down, and one Zealot to fend this something off.
Looks like Morrow's now retreating that Overlord at the natural expansion of the Protoss opponent, just trying to make sure that he can spot when that Expo goes down. That is the most important early game timing. If you don't see a Nexus going down, it's time to build a lot of Spine Crawlers, exactly what we saw in that first game on Shakuras Plateau. And it looks like the Zerglings, oh, very nice play by Morrow, getting those Zerglings out of the way just in time. Man, that's a hard spot to keep those Zerglings alive in, but he did it, and there are the 3 gateways going down now for Duckload.
And the 3 gateways going down now. Day, you know, we got the back rocks as an option. You know, always a place to harass, and we do have the pylon in the back. But just based off of how Morrow has been playing and the fact that Blistering Sands can be a more offensive map for the Zerg, what do you expect Morrow to actually do here?
You know, he may very well just not get a Spine Crawler particularly quickly and instead opt for a little bit of faster Roach Warren. Not only will he be able to stay alive in the same way, but then he can start knocking down those backdoor rocks and try to bring the noise against his Protoss opponent. However, we do see the 5 gate coming up from White-Ra. I don't even think this is cheese so much as what else am I going to do on Blistering Sands? But the real danger is, will Morrow have enough stuff up? Man, he makes a lot of drones.
He does make a lot of drones. He wants to make sure that he's got those workers and he's getting paid, and he still only has the 1 gas up right now. So he is going to be moving. You know, Morrow always liking to use that 3rd queen to spread creep here, but he has stayed pretty defensive. He still has that Overlord just above the Nexus, and eventually we're going to see White-Ra starting to move forward here with an army.
And here's the army moving out right now for Duckload. We do see that the Zerg has both of those Xel'Naga watchtowers. He knows exactly that this attack is coming. We see a lot of Zerglings popping out. That Roach Warren is only about halfway done. One Spine Crawler going down for Morrow, but looks like Duckload is now building a pylon right in between those two entrances and is pushing towards the natural expansion as we speak.
Yeah, and here he's going to move in. The Spine Crawler is not finished yet. A bunch of Zerglings. The Queens are going to move down, and this is where it's kind of like a gamble here. He's going to go ahead and go for the rock. Zerglings are going to be able to make their way in. They're going to go ahead and snipe the pylon, which I think is a great... No, they cannot get it down, so the reinforcements will remain intact. Another pylon goes down just in case, and whiterot looks like he will take care of these rocks.
And a supply block from Morrow. He is capped at 68 to 68 food. Just now starting to Overlords. Cannot reinforce, but we do see a very, very large army out right now for Morrow. But no, Morrow. No, he's up in the main. The whole push is going to the natural expansion. If he gets one force field down, that is one dead Expo. And there it is. Oh, Morrow didn't have the spotting. You need the speed Zerglings outside the front. The natural expansion is doomed to fall. And now Morrow is stuck with just one hash worth of production, having to knock down his own backdoor rocks, opening himself up, making himself vulnerable because there's just so few other options that he has. And we see that expansion does have a bunch of eggs producing Zerglings, and those are all going to be free kills for whiterot.
Yeah, that's really a bummer. He's going to be able to take out these pylons in the back, but this army, there's some roaches in good game. They go down, and this is just not looking good for Morrow. I think a great decision there by whiterot, and I think Morrow anticipating something coming in through the back, having his units there, but just cut off with those force fields. We are going to see whiterot moving in. Zerglings will get a nice surround here, and I wouldn't say that it's certainly over by any means. Zerglings doing some damage here against these stalkers, but moving forward, just too many zealots. He will move his army back, and look at all those queens too, healing up and going in again.
Very cool little transfuse play, but look at the force fields locking everything down, and now the zealots are in that mix, and it looks like one queen falls. Will the other ones fall? 2, 3 queens are now down, only one left alive. All the drones are coming into the battle as well. The last queen falls again. Morrow with crippled production, building a second hash just because it's the only thing he can afford. And it looks like Morrow might, by some miracle, be able to hold this off. Again, Morrow, how is this possible? There are 3 stalkers left after that last one falls. A few more walking on in, but it looks like Morrow might be able to barely stay alive.
Yeah, and the question will be will he be able to recover? One good thing is he did take out those pylons when he broke down his own back rocks, and so he did. And so whiterot did have to bring those reinforcements all the way from the back by his rocks, and that did help out Morrow just a little bit. That second hatch is going to finish, and how will he just do the flip back onto his feet here? He is getting the second hatch down, and no units currently coming out actually for either player. Now we've got a couple drones, another queen popping up here, and now the units start pouring in. But you could see that whiterot breaking down his own rocks and preparing a brand new Protoss army.
Gosh, we do see the forge going down for whiterot. Again, whiterot still gearing up to just do as much damage as he can on one base. He really is not set up to take a second base. I mean, honestly, if you've crippled Zerg this much, there's nothing that bad that you can really do. And we see Morrow getting more queens, really ramping up the macro mode, still making a lot of drones. This is always the hardest part as playing Zerg. When can you get away with making those drones? You see that push continuing to advance forward, and Morrow even cancels his hatch just to hope he can stay alive.
Yep, and where will this army go? He's got a fork in the road. He can either go in through the back or in through the natural, knowing that the creep is there. That would give his opponent some vision, but it looks like it doesn't even matter. He's creeping over towards that side. He's got a pylon down to warp in the reinforcements, and again, he's got a great choice here. He's got to be feeling that he is in a phenomenal position right now. Obviously, having taken out the natural expansion, he does know that that second hatchery was up, and so there could be some units here, but in comes the army for the attack, and I just think with all these zealots here, this is going to be real nasty. Only a few roaches, a bunch of lings pop out, and here we go.
And just unbelievable unit count from Morrow, given that he was down to 29 food, but there are still so many gateway units out right now for our Protoss player, and it looks like the queens are taking a lot of damage. Will transfuses get thrown down? No, the 2 queens with the energy do fall. It's just roaches left right now. Some more units are going to pop, but there's the good game. Again,